Kelly, hey,
Thanks.
congratulations for your upcoming project, The Girl from Plainville. Actually, you have a ton of projects that's coming out this year.
Yeah, it was a busy, it's kind of funny. Everybody thinks I'm really busy right now. And I'm like, no, it's all just coming out at once. But yeah, it was a very busy year last year. And it's nice. I'm proud of each one of them. And The Girl from Plainville is one of my favorite things I've ever done, actually. I think it's going to be a really good piece.
Yeah, I've seen a few episodes, and I'm hearing a lot of good buzz from South by Southwest during that premiere. So I guess it's pretty exciting that it's coming out at the end of this month.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you've heard that. I have yet to see any episodes. I should probably get on them to send me a couple before the before the premiere. But it's it was such a joy. I've been such a fan of Elle Fanning and uh, Chloe Sevigny for years, and so to get a chance to work with some of these people and Norbert Butz and just was really a pleasure. And it's interesting. Most of the gigs I've had in the past, I've been on certain like Pastor Tim and on The Americans. I was always working with the Jennings family. And in Billions, I'm always working at Axe Cap. We're the same people, which is great because you build this family. But the nice thing about this was I was the detective, so I got to drop in with just about everybody at different points, and I got to, I had at least a couple days with almost everybody in the cast. So I was spreading myself thin. It was awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say your character just managed to sneak in at opportune moments.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, he's wily. But yeah, it's fun. It's such a well-written piece too. I knew who that character was from the time I got the sides for the audition. So it just felt like a natural fit. I'm glad they thought so too. It could sometimes you think that, and the people looking at your tape don't. So.
So, what initially drew you to a project like The Girl from Plainville? I mean, because you do a lot of television series, so this must have been something different that you wanted to do.
This is I don't do a lot of limited series. There's something really appealing about that, though. It's like, in a way, like an extended movie. But the main thing about this was the character. Whatever I'm doing, be it a movie, a play, a limited series, regular TV series, I look at the character, and this guy was so interesting to me. The way he methodically pieces the evidence together, the way he comes up with this potential case, I just thought was so well rendered. And given that this is a real person, I really wanted a chance to get into this guy's brain. And then you look at the people involved, and Liz Hannah and Patrick McManus. The reputations precede them. The chance to work with people like that is something you jump at.
I'm going to back up a little bit here. You said this Scott Gordon is actually a real person. I actually assumed it was like a conglomerate of a bunch of police officers.
Yeah, he's a real person. None of this is none of it was exact replica, but certainly the character I was trying to base the little bit of accent I had on the way he spoke. I was trying to keep him in the back of my mind. I wasn't doing an impersonation, but it was certainly inspired by what I saw in this guy. And there was a lot of film footage of him talking about the case in various places. But yeah, it was really, really. It's hard to say this because it's a difficult subject, obviously, and it was a case that I was vaguely familiar with. I remember the story and was shocked like everyone else. But so it's hard to say that it was fun. But what I mean by that is when you get a group of people this talented together, and you, no matter what the subject is, it's fun to play ball with them. And I really admired the way they approached the material with dignity, and but it was a very good time down in Savannah where we were shooting.
That's great to hear. And did it make you kind of nervous to play a character that, you know, the person is very much alive today?
I always worry a little bit. I have a very well-developed sense of of worry. But again, if I were trying to play this guy exactly as he is in real life, if I were trying to create a facsimile, then I think the stakes would be higher in terms of, no, he doesn't have that tick, or he walks with a slightly, you know, with a limp, or he favors his left hand or something. I didn't feel that sort of pressure. There's another character I play in We Crashed, which is his name is Scott Galloway, and he's a very well-known, very in front of the media, very much ubiquitous character, and he's got well-known quirks and tics. And I was very relieved to hear after he saw the first few episodes, he tweeted, he was like, "Oh, I like this guy," or something. So I was like, phew, on that one. But it could be a little daunting. It can be a little daunting.
We Crash is also on my list. Saw the trailer for that one. That one looks very, very interesting. On
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you're getting into these real life true stories. You know, going from the Girl from Plainville to We Crashed, about, you know, the WeWork saga. I mean,
yeah, yeah. And then it just aired, so it's not a secret anymore. But on the miniseries, on the limited series, super pumped. I have a little cameo as Jeff Bezos, so my baldness is finally coming in handy, I suppose. But it's yeah, this is sort of the year of Kelly playing real dudes.
That is amazing. Now, just circling back to the Girl from Plainville.
Yep.
I mean, I did see a few episodes. I mean, you definitely should check it out. Obviously, you will check it out. I don't know why you should check it.
You know, I'm not really interested in that piece. No. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
But I found this sort of like a different take, and I think it's because maybe it's from the girl's perspective, and we were kind of like fed from the media, you know, this entire time. What do you think about this series taking a look at it differently in its own way?
Well, I think one of the things that it focuses on, and again, I haven't seen it, but from reading the scripts and the pieces that I was involved with, the scenes that I was involved with, the focus seems to be on, the focus is more on the societal pressures that social media put on people, the challenges the two of them were having separately. There was a more not open-ended, but there was a more, if you're exploring something like this, I think it's important to enter it in a non-judgmental way, by which I mean trying to open your mind to what each of these characters might be going through. And I think the show does a good job of focusing on both, and focusing on both families. You can draw your own conclusions, but which I like in my art. I don't like to be beaten over the head with something. And certainly we went through a phase of a certain story being told a specific way. I don't think that anyone set out for this to be a corrective per se, but I think why would you rehash this story if you're not exploring something really with curiosity and empathy? And I think this show does that. I think our showrunners really did that in a dignified way, and in a humane way.
Mm-hmm. How much research did you do for yourself before heading into this project?
There's a great documentary that everyone should watch if they're interested in this case. I'm thinking right now it's HBO. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
Deeply interesting documentary. And the Esquire article, also very interesting. So my main focus was to go back to some of these source materials, or what I would refer to as the source materials. And then they did want a little bit of an accent. So I worked with a dialect coach. We were trying not to go full on Boston, because that wasn't him. And also that's very, very easily mockable. But we went with something just to try to ground it in where this guy was from, where the detective was from. And as an actor, that kind of thing, little tool, it's almost like a prop. You probably hear actors say they like to work with props. I like to work with props. I like to work with accents, because it's just a little thing you can hang on to that helps you in that liminal state of shifting from who you are to the character you're playing. And there were people, certainly the showrunners and the writers were always available to talk if you had questions about what we were trying to do, and also what actually happened in this moment that we know. So we had a good support team in that sense.
Well, you've done a terrific job popping in here and there in every episode. So that's great. That's great to know, especially the fact that I'm watching this series, and then you reveal that it was filmed in Georgia. I guess Georgia makes anything look like anywhere in the United States.
I guess so. I hope that wasn't a secret. Oh God. Well, they can't fire me at this point.
So Kelly, how do you choose your projects? I know as of late, you're going with these real life stories, but do they just come to you, or you have to seek them out?
Oh, your lips to God's ears, my friend. No, there are some that come along that are straight offers, and that's always pleasant. After spending in my early career so many years not even being able to get an audition, but I still audition for pieces. I do try to decide before taking the first audition whether or not it's something I want to be a part of. This was a no-brainer. It's a combination of what comes to you, what people put in front of you and suggest you for, and what you're willing to do, what you want to do, what you're interested in that moment. Maybe it'll have something to do. Maybe it'll be affected by what you've done recently. Maybe you want to stay in a sweet spot and you get a couple more opportunities to do a similar thing, or maybe you want to spread your wings a little bit. This last year for me was a spread your wings kind of time. I love Billions, and I love being on Billions and continuing to be on Billions, but it was really nice to also do some things that are not dollar bill. It's been fun to do both at once. There was one night I shot the Girl From Plainville in the morning and afternoon, and took a plane to New York, and the next morning at 6 a.m. I was dollar bill. And those types of moments are they're exhausting, but then you remember there were a lot of years when you would have killed to be on two shows at once. So you don't complain.
Do you get a sense that you get a lot of these characters like playing I want to say like government employees or rich guys?
I sort of feel like my my career has gone through some phases. For a long time, I was the guy in a position of power who was slightly too young to be in that position of power, and everybody hated him, and he was kind of a dick. I'm a little too old for that now. Now I'm just the dick. But it's a combination of things. There have been a number of people who, shockingly to me, have, because of Billions and because of the character Dollar Bill, have offered me some really sweet father type roles. And I know I can play those, and I love playing those. But when I find out it was because they saw me on Billions and thought, oh, that would be neat. When I did the Bold type, I played this really sweet, kind of teary father. You know, I love my daughter, and I tear up whenever I talk to her. It's like, and the writer, it was a straight offer, and the writer said that she was a fan of Billions and thought I would be good for that part. And I was like, how in the world would you think that from Dollar Bill? And thank God there are creative people, imaginative people in the world, so that type of thing can happen. But anyway, yes, I do play government types, suit types, obviously financial types at this point. But Scott Gordon was the first detective I've ever played on screen, actually. So that's an untapped resource right there.
For some unknown reason, I always picture you like some kind of special agent or like or something like, I don't know, because I think recently I saw you in a TV show, The End Game.
Right, an AG, right? Yeah, this was, and kind of a dick too. The interesting thing is when I did House of Cards. So my dad is a former congressman. He was from the state of Oregon for 18 years back in the 70s through 1990, or 92. And I think I was the only character. I was on for 4 episodes. I think it was maybe the only character that entire season that had nothing to do with the government. It's like I finally get on the DC show and I can't even play my father. It was, but
wow. I guess it's just one of those things that they just have. The circumstances actually happen,
right?
But your father must be proud to at least you dabble in something a lot more different than what he did for years.
Yeah, although he likes to joke that he gets the acting gene from his time as a congressman. There is a certain performative quality to politics, as we know, for better or for worse. But it's I got used to being in the spotlight, I think, or in public, I guess, and seeing my dad in public. So I think that was probably the what led to me being comfortable in these types of circumstances.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I was reading that your acting bug started with your father's commercial. Is that correct, or is that something else?
Yeah, well, that wasn't the bug. I had the bug already, but my first on-screen appearance was one of his campaigns. He was a Democrat, and the Republican challengers were always trying to paint him as the big spending Democrat. And so they came up with the idea of this commercial where I'd be washing a car, because my dad made me wash the car, and talking about how cheap he was to the camera. And, like what was it? Like some line like, look, I love the guy. I just don't think it looks right for a congressman to ask for his own, to bring his own popcorn to Blazer games or something. Or he always, when he sees a sign for free air, he asks for an extra pounds or something, or extra 5 pounds or something. I don't know if it was the best copy in the world, but it was really fun to be on camera for the first time.
So how did that?
He won. So I didn't ruin I didn't kill his career.
Well, that is true. So how did that translate from going from a political commercial to everything else then on out?
Well, then you gotta hit the pause button for 20 years. No, I slowly built a career in New York. So I went to Los Angeles for a couple of years after being at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, which to me it's a brilliant theater company, Tony-winning regional theater company. Spent 2 years, 2 seasons there, and then I went to Los Angeles thinking, okay, this is it, this is the move. And I didn't work for a year and a half. And my wife, who's a modern dancer, was like, I'm moving to New York because I've sort of tapped out the LA scene and I'm going to move into New York. And I followed and slowly built a theater career. And I got to the point where I was making, maybe after 10 years or so, I was making my living just acting. And that was huge. But I was barely on TV, a guest star thing here or there, just enough to help with the bills. And then it started to shift with House of Cards, and the Americans came right after that. And no, I guess it was the Americans first, and then the stint on House of Cards, and then Billions was the big break. But it wasn't until my 40s that TV became the base. I mean, I still consider myself a theater actor. That's my first love, and I try to do one a year, which I was successful at. I was able to do one a year until the pandemic. I want to get back to that, one play a year. But it wasn't until my 40s that the TV became sort of that base. Yeah.
Well, that is obviously an interesting, transition
Right.
for yourself, and
embrace the tortoise.
and I'm curious, since your wife is a modern dancer, you two are a dancer, or is
Oh God, no.
Happenstance?
Oh God, no. No, we met at college. We met at Oberlin College. She is a dancer. She's also a historical marine ecologist, and she teaches communicating science with a company she formed. She's a very interesting person. She's much more interesting than I am. But yeah, I mean, we can boogie. I can boogie, and we'll go dance together. And I can fake ballroom dancing because she's so good at following that she makes me look like I know what I'm doing. I just dip her mostly, constantly. Whenever I've sort of stumbled over my feet, I just put her in a dip and add a flourish, and you look okay.
I only brought that up is because your background, you have all these modern dance photos.
Oh yeah, this is this is our little office. It embarrasses my wife because she calls it the Hall of Fame, and anytime our wall of fame, it's just photos from different productions we were in. Some theater things here. That's from Julius Caesar. Yeah, and then dances over here. That's her. We did one dance theater piece together back when the New York Fringe Festival was young. But they didn't have me move much. I just swayed a little bit.
Well, Kelly, this is great. I love the fact that, talking to you about the Girl from Plainville, talking to you about your other projects, your career trajectory, and, a little personal stuff.
Yeah.
So where are we hoping to go from here now? Back to possibly theater, hopefully, or
well, Billions is coming back for a 7th season, so and I believe we're starting up in October. I'd love to do a play this summer if something comes along. Self-tapes are the norm now, self-tape auditions. So I do a number of those each week, which is great. I'm knocking on wood. But I've got a little bit of downtime these days, which has been nice as well. My wife, I was gone a lot last year, and so my wife and I get to sort of poke each other in the shoulder and be like, "Oh yeah, you, hi." So, yeah, I just keep looking for interesting projects. It's just I used to think I was lazy. My parents told me I was lazy. I certainly was in certain things, but I just love. I love working, and I love working hard. I just like to work on things that I like. I know that's probably pretty much everybody, but I've been lucky the last few years to be able to do that. And that's what I guess I would like to keep doing. Whatever the platform is, whatever the medium is, I just want to keep working on interesting pieces with interesting people. That's the other thing. Like I said, with Girl from Plainville, it was the character and the story, but it also was wanting to work with these people. I knew, I know Liz Hannah's work, and I know Patrick McManus's work, and I want to work with those people. So,
well, I'm excited. I'm going to finish watching the series soon, and hopefully you get to check out the series of the Girl
yes.
from Plainville. Even though we all know how it ended, but these type of stories are riveting.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's gonna surprise you, and I think yeah. So it's hard to say enjoy the ride, but yes, I'm very curious to. I would be very curious to know what you think by the end.
Most definitely, and
Yeah.
I'm sure the real detective will contact you soon after he watches it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Well, Kelly, hey, thank you very much for speaking to us about the Girl from Plainville and also about yourself. Hopefully, we get another chance to do this again down the road.
That'd be great. Really nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you. Thank you. Appreciate
Cheers.
it.